Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price right now, as this is a capitulation update, as we are currently seeing Bitcoin below its 2018 previous all-time high. And so we're going to take a little bit of a different approach on this video, not go into fundamentals. Everyone's talking about the bottom potentially being in. And what does a bottom really look like? Let's talk about that in just a second, because we know that when you're having a cup of coffee, that is never going to be the final destination, which is exactly why we broke down yesterday, breaking the 2018 previous all-time high at 19,798 for a current candle low just shy of our target at 17,204. We came down to 17,627. Let's look at what's happening to Bitcoin, because we did get a reaction. Could we say that we've potentially reached the final destination with this 10% move back to the upside so far? Potentially an inverse head and shoulder forming here for Bitcoin. Well, here's what we need to pay attention to, snipers. When you reach a bottom, I've been in this market for over 6 years now, covering it on YouTube every single day and trading the market even longer than that. Anytime a bottom is reached, especially in the cryptocurrency market, you typically have a 2-week window in which price will start to consolidate. And so over the next 2 to 3 days, we could potentially see further downside. Who knows? We are currently in a capitulation. Miners are unprofitable right now. There are miners shutting off machines as we speak. And so we definitely know a bottom is coming very soon. It's certainly not the time to be taking short positions. Could $10,000 potentially be on the table? Maybe. That would liquidate Celsius with their current liquidation price at $13,000. All of these are scenarios on the table. We do know when a bottom is reached, we will consolidate for maybe, let's say, 14 days, and we will know that with maybe extreme fear on the crypto fear and greed index, that this is potentially a short-term bottom. And so I am not worried right now on catching a bottom, but what I am going to talk about is the facts. The volume has yet to justify a potential bottom, and it's still the weekend. The markets are the most manipulated. What if we get back above the 2018 previous all-time high by the time markets open up? Here's one interesting thing about what's happened. Bitcoin broke $20,000. That's a big even, right? Guess what also closed the week, breaking a very big psychological number? The Dow Jones Industrial breaking 30,000 to close the week. If you look at the Dow Jones right now, it's currently sitting at 29,000. Let's see the exact number here. 888. Broke a major psychological number. It's not just Bitcoin breaking these major psychological numbers. I watched a video today, by the way, talking about why Bitcoin, everyone was saying it's not going to break the 2018 previous all-time high. I was in the belief of that, as the previous cycles, it never did that. But what we're seeing right now is something that we haven't seen in the geopolitical macro environment in the past while Bitcoin's creation has been set forth, right? Since 2008, we haven't seen what we're seeing right now in equity markets, with equities like Facebook, PayPal, breaching even the 100-month moving averages. I mean, these equities have held strong, just like Bitcoin, at these important levels, and they've already breached below them, seeing continued downside as we continue to see interest rate hikes being made, inflation hitting 40-year highs. These are macroeconomic factors that we have never seen the cryptocurrency market face. And so what does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, I think overall we know in the long term, in the 5 to 10 year outlook, nobody has ever lost money holding Bitcoin for over 4 years. And so we know a bottom will come. A bottom will be reached. When is that going to come? Well, I think below $20,000, we have to factor in the major support. 17,204, we front ran that major support. And so if we start to inch back down towards here, we have to look at the next major support, 13,970. By the way, this is where Celsius would get liquidated. What do we also know about a bear market? All over-leveraged positions will eventually get liquidated. And so could we potentially look at 13,970 as a potential downside target? Well, if we breach below 17,204, that is on the table. At this point, the major resistance is the 2018 previous all-time high. 19,798 is where we have to get to if we want to assume upside targets. And so we're going to continue to monitor the price, but just know we are still in a transitionary phase. It is still currently falling in the more macro time frames. We have not seen a relief rally. We have not seen volume to justify a bottom just yet. And so we'll continue to monitor the price, snipers. I'll mention a couple other revolving parts that I think are extremely important. Ethereum breaking $1,000 US, not a surprise, as we talked about yesterday. If Bitcoin were to break its 2018 previous all-time high, so far finding support at 909. This is a major support for Ethereum. The range Ethereum is in has a resistance of 1165. Let's continue to monitor this range for Ethereum. We can get early confirmations of whether or not we'll see further downside for Bitcoin if Ethereum breaks 909, or even a confirmation to the upside. But the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is actually selling off right now. And it almost looks like there's a lot more room left for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart to come down, which means that we could see continued sell-off in altcoins into Bitcoin, which would also mean that altcoins could potentially lose some value because Bitcoin dominance has not reached its main target. In a bear market, Bitcoin dominance will come to the 200-week moving average, where it loves to have a cup of coffee and find itself more and more calm, right? In the past, we've calmed down here at the 200-week moving average. We've yet to see that move. And so we cannot justify a bottom just yet with Bitcoin dominance still yet to see it push back to the upside. That means that we have not yet seen max fear and max pain in the market. So we have equity markets opening up here very soon. The gold to Bitcoin chart, an interesting puzzle piece, because we have never over the last 5 years come above the 200-week moving average, and we are closely approaching this level. We've been able to look at this chart and say that we've bottomed out above the 100-week moving average in the past, where we're currently above the 100-week moving average. But once again, we can look at many different on-chain metrics saying that, okay, there's a bottom in sight. Yeah, that's great and all, but there's still potential of further downside. I'm not going to beat around the bush, snipers. This was not what we wanted. This is not the preferred scenario for Bitcoin to break some of these rules that have been set in stone over the last few cycles. But this is a time that we have not faced in the cryptocurrency market in the past. And so we're currently seeing the reaction of the cryptocurrency markets during these macroeconomic factors that are being set forth ahead of us. And so let's continue to see what happens, snipers. What I will also mention lastly is, as the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 have futures markets open up here in less than 24 hours, if we can at least start to see some green, that could be a very positive factor for Bitcoin. At this point, it doesn't look like we've found our final destination. We did see a 10% move back to the upside, but we are still having a cup of coffee at the midpoint of this range. And so we need to continue to monitor this. Like I said, when a bottom is reached, we're going to have time. And so we'll be able to identify that. And I think at this point, the wisest thing you can do is not to look at selling positions here, but to be looking at where to dollar cost average long-term entries into the market. And so with Bitcoin inside of the range with a support of 17,204 and a resistance of 19,798, I will keep you all updated as we see this situation progress. Thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel this Saturday. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content. I will see you guys next time. Snipers out.